Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. It's Wednesday, as always. Trade Talk is on the Wednesday, so ahead of round 8. So interesting week, this one. I think a lot of people are going to go in a lot of different directions, so it's going to be interesting to see where I go and you guys go. But as always, we'll go through the top 10 most trade in-out players for the week and then touch on a few guys just outside and my thoughts on them. Top 5 targets for the week and what my current trade plans are as of, Tuesday night when recording this. So looking forward to seeing what discussion we get up to. So let's kick it off with the most traded in players for the week. And number one, probably showing a bit of the lack of what rookies we got available. Christian Petrarca is at number 1. 8,000 coaches jumping on him. He's been very, very good last 3 weeks. So he has had 3 tons in a row. And playing a lot more midfield, which is obviously good to see. Two good matchups, obviously. Essendon, Freo, Richmond. Still got Eagles to come. So, yeah, I like the pick, right? 919k, 77 break even. He's still priced fairly cheap for what we think he can do. And I think he's a top 6 forward. So, and if he's playing this much midfield, I think he's a 100 averaging player, which means I think that he'll go quite well. So, yeah. Definitely like him as an option. Jed Bustlinger is at 2, 7.7k jumping on him here. So he's probably the pick of the rookies, right? But it's obviously not amazing. Break even 13, scored 42 last week. Looked all right. Obviously, from what people said, a few shaky moments in his first game, but they won. They won well. Don't think they're going to change any sort of major change unless there's any injuries or anything like that. So he'll play, I'd imagine, again. And 246k, because we've seen him once already, you can jump on. Break even's gone down to 13. So he's going to make a bit more cash for us. And hopefully he can pop a 60 or 2 over the next sort of 3-4 weeks and really get that cash gen kick started. But he's not going to be a huge scorer. He's obviously a defender, more of a lockdown defender. But if he can get involved in the chip marks, which he did in the first quarter, not as much after that, we could see some better scores. But he's probably the pick of the rookies this week. And he's not too expensive, so he's not a bad option. At 3, Hugh Boxall, 7.1k are jumping on him, and he's a guy I'm definitely looking at this week. Plays on the Friday night, so we'll get a chance to see if he's the sub or not. If he's named, I think he'll get named. Obviously, by the time this video's out, there might be an announcement. He might be debuting. So obviously, St Kilda's struggling at the moment, and he could be someone that he's definitely had some good VFL form, so he might come in. And go into that midfield. If he's not the sub, I think you can definitely launch into him first week. Obviously, but you just got to see if he's not the sub or not, if he's even named, because there's a chance he's not named as well, right? So we've got to watch that, but I don't mind Hugh Boxall if he's named and not the sub. At number 4, Ned Long, 4.3k jumping on him. So, yeah, 3 players over 7k. That starts really getting sort of similar in terms of priority, like who people are bringing in. And Ned Long, I jumped in last week. Really happy with him. 95, went up 56k. Break-even's essentially the same as what it was last week. So if he were to go another 90-odd score, he'll go up again another 50-odd k, right? So he could be over 700k next week, or I'd anticipate he will be if he can score solid enough. Geelong's not a bad matchup, and he's got a pretty nice sort of stretch up until his round 14 bye. So I like him. I like the play of bringing him in with the lack of rookies. He can come in and score points on field while also being a cash generator for you. So Ned Long, I'm a fan of. And if you want to bring him in, definitely tick it off. Nick Dacos is next, the 5th most traded player again, 3.3k jumping on him. So as a non-owner, it's been tough, right? He's been fantastic. That's 4 of his last 5 scores have been over 120, and obviously 3 of them have been over 130. Just an absolute gun. Getting it done, and his ownership is really starting to get up there, like nearly 45%. He's obviously very highly owned amongst the top 10k coaches. And if you don't own him, you've really got to hope that he puts up a stinker, right? He's going to be over, you'd imagine, 1.1 next week. Break-even's 95. He's going to continue to make a little bit of cash. Obviously, he's not going to keep making that much cash, right? It's going to get to a point where he's got to be scoring 150s, and then he's going to come back down, right? So, though as a non-owner, he gets tagged for a 70, and he drops a bit in price, and his break-even goes up, and he hovers at that price, you can bring him in. But it's a dangerous game not having Nick Dacos, and I'm weighing up whether I bite the bullet and bring him in. My team value's not in a good spot, so I'm finding it hard to pay near 1.1 million for someone at the moment, so I think I'm probably not going to be able to get there. But for people that have got better team value, I think, yeah, biting the bullet and bringing him in could be the play. Because there's a chance that he just keeps doing these 115, 120 plus scores and sort of keeps getting away from you if you don't have him. So, yeah, he's definitely someone that I'm considering. I'm just not sure if I'll go there this week, as I don't think I will. But I like him if you're looking at him. Chad Warner at number 6, 2.3k jumping on him this week. Cheap price, 855k for what we know Chad Warner can do. I don't think I'd go there this week. And the reason I wouldn't go there this week, he's got the Giants, which I think will be a Bedford tag. Run opens up after that, though. Essendon, Carlton, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Richmond. So good run. And then what? Port, Bulldogs. Oh, sorry, long day at work. Port, Bulldogs, Freo, St Kilda, North Melbourne. So it's a pretty, besides that Port game, it's a really nice run, really up until round 20 when they play the Giants again, right? So he's definitely going to be an option moving forward, mid-800s. I just don't think I'd do it this week with the Bedford tag. But I know people are looking at it this week, obviously, if that's what they can get to. I just think I'd rather get him next week. Xavier Lindsay, nearly 2k jumping on him. And this is interesting, right? Because this is the sort of play people are looking at, right? With no rookies, people are going, well, can I jump on a Lindsay? Break-even's 26. I'm still thinking he'll make some good cash. He's got West Coast this week, which is a good matchup. I don't know if I'd be paying 528k now. I can get behind if someone like a Caden Cleary's in the mid-400s. I just don't know. Because at Lindsay, you got to hope that he can go 75 for the next 3-4 weeks to make the 140, 150k you'd want. You'd want him to get to at least 650k to be a real target. And again, if he goes another 80 this week, he'll be near 580 next week, and he'll be making cash. Obviously, that injured score is starting to really get out of the cycle now. Obviously, he's had 3 games. It's pretty much almost out. That score, 98, should have been a lot more. Obviously, rested a lot in the last quarter. So I don't hate it. I just don't know if I would do it if I didn't own him. I think I'd probably look for another rookie, but he's definitely someone that, if you're struggling, he might be the risk you might have to take to make some cash there. So it's a tough one. Nasai Wangani Miller is at number 8, 1.8k jumping on him. Obviously, I've been a bit not as bullish on him as a trade-in option. Right, 131, fantastic. He's had 2 sub-100 scores this year, and they've been a 91 86, right? Bringing him in is not going to be bad, right? He's still I think he's a good option. I think I prefer another guy in defence, which I don't know if he'll be on this list, but I'll chat about him. But I just don't like the low game time. That's the only flag. So he played a lot of midfield time in this game for essentially from quarter time onwards. And he went on to the bench twice in each quarter. So in the first quarter he played like 91% game time. Then he went like under 70% in the last 3 quarters, which I don't love. If that was just a game situation thing last week, not to burn him out, and he'll play more moving forward in the midfield, I think it could be a good thing because he'll get a few more tackles. If he gets tagged, he'll go back to half back. He'll be able to move around. So I don't think the tags going to necessarily affect him as much. I'm just worried with the low game time. That's probably my one sort of knock on him. But 131 from 72% game time is fantastic, right? So his run coming up, Freo, Carlton, Eagles, Gold Coast, Melbourne is pretty good. Like, it's not too bad. Carlton obviously might be a bit tougher, but outside that, I think it's pretty good. So I don't know if I necessarily see too many sort of hard tags with a guy like Nasai coming up. So I still like him as a trade-in. I think he's one of those guys in defence. If you're looking for an upgrade, I think he's one of the top sort of 3 or 4 guys you'd be looking at. So if you don't have him, jump on. Obviously, I want him to go well, right? I own him. So if he averages 110 for me, fantastic. I'm happy days. I'm just saying that there might be someone else if you're looking at there. James Tunstall's here, 1.6k jumping on him. I just wouldn't be. Because, okay, if he comes in for Lohmann this week and plays, if Lohmann doesn't get up, he could be sub. He might be out the team next week. You want to be bringing in rookies now that are going to be in for 3-4 weeks and making consistent cash. And I don't think Tunstall is going to be that guy. So I don't think I'd be going there. Josh, and they play like Sundays for the next 3 weeks. So that's the other thing. Like, even this week, if you're not sub, he could be sub next week and you won't know and you won't have anywhere to, well, I would say pivot to, but he's on your bench, but still, I wouldn't be doing it. Josh Dacos, 10th most trade in this week. Don't mind this play. 1.6k jumping on him. I think the one thing I'm asking myself is, Can he go closer to the 100 mark, which is what I'll be wanting him to do? And Houston's averaging 70. Houston's not going to average 70 for the year. That's going to bump up. Does that mean Dacos will stick around these lower scores? They had an incredibly tough run, right? They had Giants, Port, Carlton, Sydney, Brisbane in their, 5 of their first 6 games, right? Bulldogs were the only team that were okay, right? But he still went 88-99, 85-99, 65-95, 119. So really good scores. The marks are up. That was why he obviously got to this score. And a lot more kicks than obviously he can sometimes handball a bit more. So I don't mind this as a play. Obviously, he's a bit cheaper. If you are wanting someone around this price, I think he's one of the better options that you can look at. So if you are keen on a Josh Dacos, I think you can definitely go there. Some of the other players just outside the top 10. Matt Carroll, I'm contemplating this move this week. He's obviously gone up a bit in price, 137k, so I've missed out on a bit. But I'm thinking he might be the play. And a few Boxall's names, obviously it's a decision, right? But I'm thinking he's got Adelaide St Kilda next 2, not bad matchups. He's gone over 50 in 3 games. If he averages 50 over the next couple of weeks, he makes like 80k. Probably going to be more than a Boxall. Rookies are drying up. Do I jump on him instead? That's what I've got to weigh up, right? So I think he's a good option if you're looking at it. He's one of the better rookie options, obviously, because we don't have many. So I don't mind jumping on a Matt Carroll if you've got the money and can afford jumping at the hip. Jake Bowie. Oh, my God. He's been so good. I wish I'd jumped on him. I could have done Sam Taylor to him in like round 3. I should have done it. And I didn't because I was just worried that Bowie wasn't going to continue there, but he's been fantastic, right? So, yeah, I think the week I was going to get him went 76. No, so the week I was going to get him was he got a 98, but then went 76, 90, 113, 122. I would have been so happy if I went there. Unfortunately, didn't. He's been great. I don't know if I'd buy into him now, though. So he's got West Coast, which is good this week. Then he goes Hawthorn, Brisbane, Sydney. It's a really tough run. And you're bringing him in now because he's getting quite expensive and you're wanting him to be pretty close to the top 6 to 8 defenders from here. And there's just so many guys back there for Melbourne, right? You've got Bowie, you've got May, you've got Rivers, you've got Salem, you've got Windsor as well. Like, are they all going to be able to continue doing this? That's my only question. I think not all of them will, but I think Bowie will still be able to continue. I think he'll still ravage around that 90 mark. But is that really like... And he could even go a bit more. And if you think he's closer to a 9,500 player, then go for it. I think he's still a bit of value if you think he's going to do that. But I think he's closer to the 90 than he is the 100, which means he's not as much value. And you might want to look for other options. But again, if you're keen on it, I don't mind the play. Caden Cleary, I think I'd be fine bringing him in. 457k is expensive, but his break-even's still 10. He went up 62k last week. And with the lack of rookie options, I could still see him making 150k, which is what you'd want, right? You want at least probably 100k from your rookies, but if they can go 150 plus, it's good, right? I think he can get to 600 because he's shown the ability to score. Obviously, junior pedigree's there. 3 of his first 4 games have been over 68, which is good for cash gen. And... yeah, he didn't even... 17 touches, 5 marks, 5 tackles, behind 82. I think he can continue scoring similar to that, right? So, and he tackles a lot as well. I think there's a game of like 10 tackles on the horizon. So, I like him as an option. Expensive, yes, but with the lack of rookie option, you might just have to bite the bullet, right? Hamish Davis, I wouldn't be considering. He got subbed out last week, just not scoring well. I wouldn't look at it. Campbell Gray, I wouldn't look at him either. Bolter back this week. I think Gray probably goes out for Bolter. Cherry, yep, I like him if you're looking for a ruck this week. Obviously going really well and could be pretty high up in the captains this week when we do that on Thursday. Brayshaw as well. He's probably too expensive now. Well, not too expensive, but like 1.8, 1.08. If you haven't got Dacos, I'd rather Dacos for 12k more. There's a few other guys a little bit cheaper, but he's getting it done. And I thought he's going to be number 1 scoring mid before the season started, and the last 5 weeks have definitely sort of felt a bit more like the Brayshaw that we know. So I think you can definitely look at bringing Brayshaw in, but he's a bit more expensive, so you're not getting as much value. But if you think he's going to be in the top 4 mids, you can look there. And yeah, Trent Rivers, I wouldn't look at going He's cheap, right? And he's gone really well last 2 weeks. He's made good cash. Went up nearly 50k this week. Break even still 50. But there's only one good matchup. Then they go into 3 tough matchups. All the Melbourne defence are scoring, but is it sustainable? I don't think I'd be looking at a Gawn. Wiltshire obviously didn't play much of the game, so I wouldn't look at him. And Gawn, he's expensive. I think Cherry and Marshall would be my pick for the Rucks now, who I'd be going for. Most trade-out players, so you got Sam Davidson at 1. Need 10k jumping off him, and I think, yep, you can definitely do that. Dropped to 51 last week. It's been really good, right? Made, nearly 400k. Been one of the, obviously, best rookies we've had all year, and you can certainly trade him and sort of thank him for his services there. But obviously, Port in Ballarat this week is not great. 65 break even. I think it is time for him to go. Hugo Garcia can go. I think decision we made for you. Nearly 7k jumping off him. I think decision we made. I think he will be dropped based on the early sub out. And even if he plays anyway, break-ins up to 76. Yeah. He's made what? Oh, God. I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry. It happens when I got to record this. I have to record this late Tuesday, right? So I apologise for the yawning. Yeah, right. He made 171k. He's been good. But, yeah, he's got to go. He's not going to... I don't think he'll be there this week. Sam Lawler, 4.7k jumping off him. I can tick off trading him as well. Break-ins up to 56. You're really wanting him to pop out like one of those 90s again to really make some more cash, which, okay, did against Brisbane in that game, right? But that's the only game he's gone over 70. So I think that was more one that was out of the box that kick-started a bit more cash gen compared to what the norm will be. So, yeah, I think he can go. And if you need him to get the better upgrade or maybe get the better rookie, I think he can go. Christian Rice is 4th. He can go. His cash gen is pretty much made unless he can somehow go really well. Break even's 56. He went up 1k on the weekend. He's not going to make any more cash again. A bit like Lawler, so he can pop out like a 90, which again he's capable of doing. He's done it once, but again that score like Lawler looks a bit more like it was out of the box more than what it'll be as the norm going forward. So he can go. A lot of guys that are maxed out here that people are training like. So Sanders can go. Obviously had the 130, but that was obviously about out of the box. St Kilda giving up massive scores, and he drops to 50 on the weekend. Port at Ballarat, not getting CBAs. Made another 17k this week, so take that. His break-even's up to 78, which is essentially what he's averaging. I'd be trading him and getting the better upgrade, nearly 800k. You can get a good upgrade from then. You can get your day costers and guys like that are up there. Murphy Reid can go. Levi Ashcroft can go. Jackson Pryor can go. Finno Sullivan can go. Like all these guys, you can pretty much say they can go. Like Levi's the one that if you had to hold one, it's probably him. But plays late Sunday. What if he was somehow the sub? Where are you going to pivot to? If you can get he's the guy you can get the upgrade from, I'd be happy to trade. I think I'd go Davidson out, and I'd go like Garcia out, and probably Sanders out ahead of Levi Ashcroft. But yeah, I think Levi, it's almost time to go for him. And as I said, yeah, Murphy Reid can go. He's made a lot of cash, but yep, I think his break evens pretty getting up there as well. 59, yep, over his average now as well. So dropped 36 on the weekend, made another 4k. He's been a really good pick if you started with him. 225k made. He can go. Jackson Pryor can go as well. Plays Thursday night, so you might be able to loop and see what he does. But 49 break even. Made some good cash. Yeah, I think that he's not going to make that much more. I think he had the one score over 70, 72. Yep, and he's been consistent over 45, but I don't think he's going to make that much more cash than what he's made already. Finno Sullivan, he's probably one I'm still... Maybe it's just stubbornness. I just think that there is like a 70 or an 80 coming. Like, he can't... he can, but I don't know if I'm going to see he's going to keep just popping out 40s and 50s, right? I do see a game of 70 around the corner, which would mean that he'd make some good cash and his break-in would drop down again. We really just want to see him smash out some 55, 60s to make some cash, right? He had Port... He's had Carlton and Port in the last two. They're not easy matchups by any means. He hasn't really had any easy matchups. And his next four games are not bad, right? Essendon, Brisbane, Richmond, Collingwood. I think Essendon, Richmond, Collingwood are pretty good. Brisbane, not as much. But if he can put out a good score on Thursday night against Essendon, he could kickstart a bit more cash. Again, if he gets the upgrade you want, he can go. But I'd rather get rid of like a Marias and a few of those other guys are worth a bit more over a Finno Sullivan. But again, Finno Sullivan can go. Dropped 1k last week. His break-ins in the 40s, which is over what he's averaging. I've said the other guys can go, so he can go as well. I guess because he's a bit cheaper, it's a bit easier for him to kickstart some cash gen than what it is for some of the other guys. Is that the top 10? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Chera's the 10th most traded out. So this is going to be very interesting to see if he gets the week or not. Because it pretty much comes down to if him and Hinge, they're either both going to get off or they're both going to stay the week. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I know the AFL trying to crack down on these hits around the stoppage and head high hits. Yeah, I think even if he misses, I'll be holding. And Liam from Free Kick, obviously on the Hat Chat pod, made a good point and was saying that, like, and we mentioned this on our pod last night as well when Liam jumped on, is that with Chera, if you can go like a Davidson down at Ashcroft up, if like one of them's on your bench, or Lawler down, or Garcia down, or whoever, if you can go one rookie down, then the other one up, and you get the upgrade anyway, then what's the point of trading Chera when you can just do the same upgrade, but then you'll be a week behind? Whereas if you hold Chera, he's only going to be out for 1 week with suspension at most, if it's not overturned. And then you can, essentially, you'll get a double upgrade next week because you'll have Chera on the field again next week. And then you'll be able to hopefully do another upgrade as well, which means that you'll be fine. So I'd be holding. I think the only play that I'd look at trading in would be if you don't have a Ned Long and you could do like a Chera down to Ned Long and use that cash on the other end to get an upgrade. That would be something I would consider. If your buys are really out of whack and you need to trade around 12 player, that could be another play as well. But most cases, I think I would be holding Chera. I think he's been really good to this point, averaging just under 100. And what's his break even now? Is it somewhere in the 80s? Is it? I didn't even look at it when it was up. 88. Not going to make a huge amount more cash, but he's been fantastic. He was one that I was bullish on in preseason. I end up not going there because I ended up wanting the extra 100k to go Hollands. And if I'd gone Chera, I'd be in such a much better position. A few mistakes from my starting squad has really cost me. And yeah, Chera for one was definitely one because he's made some really good cash. Some other players, Sam DeConing can go, not playing ruck, he can go. Luke Trainer's one I'm probably looking at holding personally. Break-even's 54. A lot due to that 2 score that he got a couple weeks ago. But the further he gets away from that, the lower his break-even will probably drop. And hopefully, he's got West Coast then North after this Hawthorn game. The Hawthorn game makes me a little bit nervous. Bolter back as well. But after that, West Coast, North Melbourne, 2 good matchups. I think he could score pretty well in those 2. And if he can pop like an 80 this week or something like that and go really well, that break-in will shoot right back down because then that 2 will be nearly out of his price cycle. And he'll be able to make some good cash again. So, but again, I don't think he's a must-hold either. I think if he gets the upgrade you need, I think he can definitely go. He's not going to make like another 200 to 300k. At most, he might make 100. But yeah, obviously, if you get the upgrade this week, it might be better to just do that. Kieran Briggs, I think he's got to go, doesn't he? Like, geez, he's going to be cheap for next year with some injury-affected gains. But what did he score? 50 on the weekend. Then he scored 39. His game time has all been under 80% since he's been back. Obviously, it was good, like 86, 96, 87. But then 39 against the Crows and then a 50 on the weekend against English. Like, I know he rests a lot of the last quarter, but yeah, I don't love that. His run's getting it will be good after this week. But I just think 719k, like it's a bit like the Stewart playing defence, right? Which is where I'm stuck. Do you just persist with him? Or do you go across to like a Matt Flynn, who might make some cash for you? Or do you go up to a Marshall, who's going to be a top 2 or 3 ruck, and he's in the low 900s? Like, I'd probably trade, but depends on what the rest of your team's looking like. You could hold. Clayton Oliver, I'd probably still be holding. West Coast this week, still a good enough matchup. I could see him going really well here. But the scores are dropping off. Is that 3 weeks in a row now, sub 100. He's starting on the bench every game, which isn't great. He hasn't been not bad by any means, but he's dropping a little bit of cash. Yeah, 3 scores under 100, back-to-back 80s. I'd love to see that game time in the mid-80s because then a lot more of these 80s would be hundreds. But with the low game time, he's not going to pump out these massive scores. Still been a solid pick, still made good money. A lot of people are still there. I don't think he's a must-trade, but maybe if you trade, could you be a week ahead if he was to drop an absolute stinker this week? You could be. I think he's just a low priority for a lot of teams, so I wouldn't trade. Kako can go. Simpkin, still averaging 93 for the year. Scored a 51 last week. I think this is probably a luxury trade again. Like, I think he's been good besides that once. Yeah, went 81, then 51, but he's gone over 80 in every game bar one. That was against Port Adelaide. High time on ground. as I said, good run up till the bye. I'm keeping a Jai Simpkin. Max Hall can go. He's maxed out pretty much. Well, there you go. I didn't even mean to do that one there, but Max Hall has maxed out in cash. Zach Reed. Zach Reed's probably one I'd probably keep now. I traded him last week, and he made, another 39k. Break even still 36. He's got North this week. Good matchup. I think he'd go well. Sydney next week's tough. Bulldogs, Richmond. Yeah, far out. I should have kept him. He's going to go well 3 of the next 4, isn't he? He could go well all of them. I wish I kept, but then again, he's going to go at some point. I don't think he's going to make another 300k. It's not like I'm going to miss out on too much, hopefully. But yeah, probably should have kept him there. Holmes I'd be keeping. I was obviously been poor, but I think it's just a couple of trickier games. He doesn't look great the last couple of weeks, but I think he'll be better. I'm looking at trading him in round 11. This run from round 11 for that run is pretty good. Collingwood's fine this week. Giants, Port's tough, but then goes into some good matchups. I would be holding him. And the last 2 matchups have been pretty tough as well, right? So, yeah, I would be holding Max Holmes. I've got a lot more faith he'll turn it around than a lot of other options. And people are going to look at targeting him in a few weeks. And in that case, it means I'll be holding. And I guess Asher wouldn't be trading out unless he is injured, but I don't think he is injured. So I'll finish up on, and Celio can go, who was just said, I'll finish up on Tom Stewart, because he's the tough one, right? I'm an owner. It's been a tough year, right, for him. What's he done? We all know, but we'll go through it quickly, right? So he's got 95 against Freo. Good score. A lot of players scored well that game. He got injured in the first quarter. Scored 95, which is great. 3 frees against. It could have been bigger. Fine. Scored 9 against St Kilda. Then he did the injury, right? Missed against Brisbane. Flew out to Brisbane. Then laid out, didn't play. Melbourne came back. Looked good, 108. Still proppy, but still good score. Then a lot again. All the defenders scored well that game. Obviously, with chipping it round. Obviously, Crozier was laid out with Gastro, didn't play. Then, obviously, played against Hawthorn, didn't look great, looked out of touch. And then, obviously, Carlton got injured again midway through the first quarter. Still played a lot of the game out. Funny enough, that was actually a season high in terms of game time, which was quite interesting. I think he'll play, but he's obviously playing through some discomfort. And if he lands on that knee, there's going to be, again, trouble again. But maybe he doesn't go for these lunging spoils. Maybe it's just he's still sprinted. I think he'll play. He wasn't on the injury report. And it'd be a typical Geelong it'd be if he's out, right? So I think that I would be I'm an owner and I'm still looking at holding, but I don't like it. 110 break in. If he drops another 40 or 50, he's going to go down another 40k. He's going to be 680k. But at that point, I think I'll have 3 rookies excluding Bice on field, which will be a Cleary or Trainer. I've got Sheasel, who I'm bringing in maybe this week in my mids. I've got that ability to loop, sort of get the best of those 2. And I can always put Sheasel back next week and trade Tom Stewart to a mid. Or I can go into a defender, that's fine. I'm probably going to hold for 1 more week and see what he does. He then goes Giants and Ports. That's not even great. Then he goes Dogs, West Coast, Gold Coast. It's a good run except for those 2, right? And he's better than what he's playing his price in the mid-70s. He's better than a mid-70s player. Okay, he's not 100. He's not probably mid-90s. I think he can get back to a 90 average if that knee's not as bad. I think he's at least a mid-80s average, but obviously it's a season-killing pick, right? It's put me in a bad hole. I've lost 200k where people might have gained 100k from their pick. If you're losing enjoyment from fantasy, I'd trade, but I'm trying to just upgrade my rookies and continue the process and just hope he can turn it around. But maybe I'm just being stubborn and just wishing he turns it around, but. Yeah, maybe I'll just hold for 1 more week. It's so tough. It's team dependent. If you're in a good spot and you've got him, I'd trade. If you're trying, it is really team dependent, and I'm probably holding this week. But I don't know. It's so hard. I'm grappling with this week. I go through my trades after, and I'm tossing up. We're trading him or a rookie. My top 5 targets for the week. So, again, it's a bit of a tougher week to go through some targets because a lot of people are going to go in a lot of different directions. But my number 1 target and the guy I'm looking at bringing in this week is not even brought in by 1,000 people this week. Let's see how far down the list he is. There he is. 513 people jumping on him. Harry Sheezel is my number 1 target for the week. And the reason he's my number 1 is because we saw him move to half back last week. And I thought he looked good. I know, and he didn't score great, right? Power Pepper was following him a little bit in the first half and a bit in the second half. 30 touches, the marks are right down, but we know he takes a lot more than 4 marks. He hasn't gone below 90 this year playing in this forward role. Moved to half back to give, I think, North a bit of stability back there because they hadn't really had that with anyone back there. And I think this role's going to be something moving forward. And he's got Essendon, Brisbane, Richmond, Collingwood before the bye, which is a good run. Brisbane's it's a bit trickier, but Essendon, Richmond, Collingwood's good. Then he's got the bye. Then he goes West Coast, Freo, Carlton, Hawthorn, Bulldogs, Melbourne. Not a bad run up even after the bye. Carlton, Hawthorn obviously a bit tougher, but every other game is good, right? I really like him as an option this week. Plays high time on ground. Always gets a lot of the ball. Marks, I think, will go up. I think he might even have some extra kick-ins moving forward as well. I think he's a better kick than a lot of those players back there. So I really like Sheeds was a trade in. He's dropped over 100k for the season. He's priced at 105, and I think he's closer to a 110, which puts him at value. And I think the time could be now to be jumping on the Shees, regardless of what Kane Corns thinks. Number 2. Who would I got number 2? I might go Petrarca still at 2 because I think he's still value. Got the West Coast this week. Another good matchup there. I think he'll go well once again. So I'd have him at 2. At number 3, I'd go Ned Long still. I think this is almost the final week to get him because he'll be over 700k next week. But he works still for a lot of teams. You can get to him fairly easily. I still like Ned Long as an option. So you could do what I did last week where you downgrade a few more expensive rookies and you go down a rookie and then to Ned Long and bank some cash for next week to get a better upgrade. Or again, if Cherry gets a week and you're wanting to go him down along and then someone up, you could look at that. There's a few options, like if you had a Tom Stewart and you had some flexibility, could you go Tom Stewart to Ned Long? Bank yourself 70k. Does that get you the upgrade you want on the other end? Who knows? So I like Ned Long as an option, and he is my number 3. I'll go number 4. I'll go the Big X at number 4. If you're looking for a ruck trade, I think if you don't have the Big X, he's probably the guy I'd look at. Gone 116, 122 in the last 2 weeks. And I think a monster scorer is just around the corner as well. He's back. He's back to doing what we know X can do. But the thing that I think he's on for a big score at some point, he went 116 the week before with a lot of, again, he gets 30 plus hit outs most weeks anyway. So I think that's there. His tackles, he got it done with tackles against Carlton with 11. But then the week after against Port, he had no tackles, but then got the ball, right? I think that, again, against Essendon, I could see a game where he gets close to 20 touches and gets 8, 9, 10 tackles. And pair that with the 40 hit-outs, that's a massive score, right? So I think there's a big score maybe coming this week. I think he'll be in the top 10 definitely for captains this week. And if you don't have him and you're looking to jump off a Briggs, or if you want to do the TDK trade, even though drop to 117, you want to just do it, you could look at doing something like that. So I'll go Big X at number 4, but not going to be something that a lot of people look at because either they've got him or they're not looking to make a trade in the rucks this week. And at number 5, I will go with Josh Dacos, I think. I've still got question marks over Josh Dacos because I'm like, well, was that bigger score out of the box? Actually, hang on. No. Instead of doing Josh Dacos, just because I'm not 100% sold on it, I'll say Matt Carroll because there's not many rookie options and he's got a low break even and he's one of the last ones at the moment that are there. If we get a box shoe and he's not the sub and we get a Smiley come in, I think Smiley will be the sub first game if he comes in this week. We'll have a few guys coming through over the next few weeks, but just to make some cash, a lot of teams will still need cash gen. I think Matt Carroll could be a play. But this fifth spot's pretty hard, right? Because you make a case for that could be Caden Clear instead. Maybe you're wanting a Lindsay instead. Maybe you're wanting maybe Nick Dacos is a must-have, you think. Buslinger might be. So I think the top four, I like the look of those four. It's just that fifth spot that could be a few other guys that you could like. Is it Zorko? Is it a Lockie Neal? No, sorry, not Lockie Neal. I was just going to because he was there. Could it be a Zorko? Could it be an Asai Wanganeen Miller? Could it be a Brayshaw? Could it be Chad Warner, who's cheap? There's a lot of guys there in the mix. I like the top four, and it's quite hard to rank. So I'll just say Carroll, just because he's could make some cash there. My trade plans this week. At the moment, I've got Marias down to Boxall. And then I've got Levi Ashcroft up to Harry Sheasel. I'm really keen on the Harry Sheasel pick this week. My team value's not great, which is the only question mark I've got over it. My buys are fine. I don't have that many round 12 players, so I'm fine to jump on him. But yeah, I'm still thinking about team value and thinking, do I need to go Sheasel? I think he's going to be a 110 guy, so I think that's why I'm really keen to jump on him. I have thought about doing Lawler Carroll, and that might be where I end up going this week. Obviously, if Boxall's not named, I'll have to go there. But if Boxall's named, do I go Carroll this week? It depends what rookies get named. If Boxall's the only rookie that gets named this week, I don't want to bring him in and then have no options next week to bring in. If Boxall gets it done, there's no rookie. So I'm thinking at this stage, maybe it could be Lawler Carroll because I can't get Sheasel in doing the other trade. So maybe Lawler Carroll's where I go. But yeah, few options I'm considering, but Sheasel's the main goal I'm looking at. I have thought about doing a Josh Dacos instead, saving a bit of cash there. But I'm pretty big on Harry Sheasel, so I think I'm going to follow my gut here, because I want to keep trusting my gut, and hopefully my luck can turn around. Obviously, did a bit last week, but hopefully we can continue that moving forward. But yeah, that'll do us for trade talk. But as always, let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your trades in round 8, ahead of round 8. And if you've got any trade questions, put them in the comments below and I'll get to them if I can. Obviously, I've struggled last few weeks to get to some questions there, but hopefully get to a few more this week. But if you do want a guaranteed answer for any of your questions, then head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. Do an exclusive Patreon Q&A later on today. So if you want to jump over there and sign up, you might be able to get your question answered tonight. But you get team reviews every week. I'll limit it to just trying to do one per person, or if you've got follow-up questions, fine. But just one team review for people per week. There's bonus content in there. There's heaps of stuff in there, and it will only get bigger and better from here. So if you guys want to head over there, links in the description if you want to go. And you'll see that you asked me on Q serves for free as well. So that's the personalized audio response platform where you can send in your screenshots of your teams and get a full team review there. And Patrons get the serves for free. Or if you just want a sort of one-off small fee, you can go to Ask Me on Q, spelled QU.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics, and get all your questions answered there, guaranteed. And if it's not answered within 24 hours, you get your money back. So, yeah, as always, make sure you guys smash like on the video. So I thought I'd set a goal. So obviously there's roughly, so far this season, we're getting about 3,000 per watch, which again, thank you guys so much for all the people that tune in. Very much appreciate everyone's support and love all you guys out there. I'm just having a look here. I want to see. So the most that we've had on a Trade Talk video was it 174 in round 5 for the Trade Talk? I reckon that's the most likes we've got on a video so far. No, we got 219. That was on a team review, right? There was a lot more people tuning in, right? The aim for this week, 174 was obviously our best before that. Let's try and get 200 likes. So if you're tuning in now, all you got to do is click the like button. That's it. Takes 2 seconds. Helps us out a whole bunch. So let's see if we can set a new goal. Let's see if we can smash it out of the park, right? Let's see if we can go more than 200, right? But that's the base. Let's see if we can just hit 200. And see what we can do from there and see how far we can go. So challenge to everyone out there for all 3,000, 2,000, however many people watch it this week out there, as many of you that can like it as possible, let's get it done. Like, even if we get, imagine 500, 600, 700, even 1,000. Let's see how many we can get, because it does obviously help us out a huge amount just by clicking one button. Which is the like button, not the dislike button, the like button, if you enjoyed the video. But yeah, And make sure you subscribe. We're less than 250 away from 4,000 subscribers, which is the big goal we set at the start of the year. We are approaching it pretty quickly. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. We've got daily content on the channel here. I'll be back tomorrow for captain's video as always. And watch-alongs are back. It's been a few weeks since we had one. Obviously, we had Gather Round, and then we had I was sick, and then my birthday weekend was last week. So busy there. But we'll be back on Thursday for a watch-along. So make sure you guys tune in there. It'll be Essendon and North Melbourne. So if I bring Sheasley, it'll be his debut for me. And Big X as well, whether he's a VC or for me or not, or if it is a Harry Sheasley if I bring him in. Who knows? Should be a good one. So make sure you guys tune to that one there. And then a pre-lockout chat on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Perth time, as always, answering all of your fantasy questions ahead of the Friday night footy. So, as always, thanks everyone for tuning in. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video. So thanks everyone. Catch you then. See ya.